Live. I will now call to order the April 22nd, 2025 regular Clarke County School Board meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any questions about tonight's agenda? May I have a motion, please?
I move to accept tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any questions about the consent agenda? May I have a motion, please?
I move that we approve the April 22nd, 2025 consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Sorry, I lost the agenda. Okay, next is presentation. Sorry, I lost the agenda. Next is a presentation for work-based learning. So, Mr. Coleman?
Mr. Coleman, you can turn that microphone on.
You got it? All right. Wow. Okay. I can stand over here. No, it's not her. Okay. I was waiting on one more. Yeah, I was waiting on one more student to come in. Hopefully, she'll come in by the time. Oh, there she is. All right. If you could just quickly scroll down to page 7. I'm going to do last part really quickly, and then I'm going to let them talk because that's who you'll want to hear from. So this is something that we started this year. It's a STEPS post-secondary program for special ed students who are between the ages of 18 and 22. Right now we're going 2 days a week at Shenandoah University. They're treated like Shenandoah University students. They have IDs, they work on campus, and then they have students, teachers who come in and help with the program. But we're looking at continuing this next year, hopefully going 5 days a week. To where we finally have a post-secondary program for our students between the ages of 18 and 22. I'm done. All right, you can keep going. Yeah. This is just what work-based learning is. That's just on there for basic information. But then the next slide is all of the work-based learning categories that students can do. Right now, we're doing all of those except for, I believe, the I can't go. I need glasses. Better glasses. Entrepreneurship is the only one that we're not doing as of right now. Thanks. Yeah, you can keep on going. Scroll up. All right, so this year we did the You Have Options Career Fair. We had 103 businesses that came in, which is the largest in the area. I have over 300 students. All the students had a chance to participate. We had 40 colleges there, as well as everyone from trades to health and medical. Then we have people outside that were, students were able to actually try out different simulation machines. They had big excavators there that students were able to get into and see what it was like to actually drive those around. If you keep on going, it duplicated, it duplicated itself. And then these are some other work-based learning opportunities. Right now we have 18 students in internships. You'll be able to hear from some of them today. 56 students who have done job shadowing so far. Over 300 students have participated in work-based learning presentations. That's where we bring in people from the community to talk, as well as take them out and do tours. Next, the 2026-27 school year, we're going to be the first district in the Lower Fairfax, Laurel Ridge region that will be able to offer the UCGS, which is the first year of their college done without having to take any classes online. Our teachers will be able to teach it. Students will leave with their first year degree completely done.
What's UCGS?
It's the Uniform Certificate of General Studies. It's the first year of community college completed. Then we went to Shenandoah University for esports. Gaming is a big thing. They have the program to where you can actually get a degree in esports. It's kind of like marketing, but they do have a degree for esports. And here's some other presentations that we've done. We've had NASA come in. We had an entrepreneur come in. It's Good News Coffee. She's 20 years old and runs her own business. And she came in and talked to students about what it takes to be a young entrepreneur and what all the stuff that she has to go through. We did aviation, because aviation is a big thing now with students. Someone from the Winchester Regional Airport came in and talked about that. And then continuing, we had Shepherd University. That's an annual trip that we take now. If you've never been to Shepherd's School of Nursing, when you walk in, you feel like you're actually in a hospital. It's very well put together. Like, it's probably the best one that I've seen. Eugene Smith was gracious enough to allow our students to come there and see him do some art demonstrations. We were able to get the Department of Forensics to come in and talk about what it takes to get into forensic science. So they came in from the Manassas area. And then so forth. We had threat intelligence for Google. Dr. Thomas Turner came over. We did the Valley Health Job Expo. And then here's some other ones. I'm not going to read them all, but those are all the things that we've done so far this year. And continuing on, those are some other things that we've done. This Thursday and Friday, we're taking students to take the FAA 107 licensure exam. This is for our unmanned aircraft class, so they'll be certified as long as they pass the exam to where they could be able to go out and get jobs. Because presently, if you can fly a drone, you can make anywhere between $150 to $300 an hour, just flying a drone around for insurance companies, for Walmart, some other places.
Did you say where our students are doing?
Mhm.
What
Yes.
grade are they?
They'll be juniors and seniors. And we have to. We have 8 that will be taking the exam this year. Mr. Lane teaches it, and he comes and tells me who he thinks has the best chances of passing it based off of their class performance. So,
Like, do we support them in studying for this exam outside of just our regular?
yes. Yeah. Mr. Lane gives them study guides because he actually took it, and I believe he scored a 96 on the exam and only missed 3 or 4 questions. So, 2 questions. All right. And these are the things that are coming up. We're starting the firefighting A&T class over with the Innovation Center in Winchester. We're also rolling out the forensics, or introduction to forensics for students. We're doing a senior shadow day next school year, to where we're going to have all the senior class go out and shadow different careers on one specific day. Shockey has agreed to do a construction apprenticeship. We're going to be rolling out some cool school-based enterprises within the high school. We're doing the 4th annual college and career fair. I've already got 60 people that have already come back and said yes, they want to participate again. And then a new one that we just were able to get completed is the Community College of Beaver County in Pennsylvania, which is the top air traffic control program in the nation, has agreed to allow our students to take all of their courses for an in-state tuition. And then if they decide to continue on with them, they will keep that same tuition cost. There won't be any increase for them if they decide to continue on.
Is that online, or they?
Yes. Yep. They'll be able to take it all asynchronous online.
Okay, this is awesome.
And then that is just all of our CTE courses, if you ever wanted to look and see what all classes that we offer. So if you scroll back to the top, because I'm done. Yes, ma'am. All right, so the student presentations. Who would like to give first? All right, Marley. So Marley, back over, she does our physical therapy mentorship with Berryville Physical Therapy, and the floor is yours.
Okay, hi, I'm Marley. Yeah, I work at Berryville Physical Therapy. I get early release, so I'm out of school at 1:30, and then from 2 to 4 after school, I work there as a paid aide. I started out as an unpaid internship, but I very quickly got like a paid aide position, so that's really nice. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I aid a senior exercise class, so I think our ages range from like 60 to late 80s. And basically it's just to keep them in shape. We do a lot of balance exercises. And that has gotten me I'm not allowed to manipulate patients when I shadow on Wednesdays. So that has allowed me the opportunity to work hands-on with patients without actually, it's not therapy, but I get to be hands-on, if that makes sense. Because in the actual therapy part of it, I can only watch, which is still really exciting for me because I've done this all through Mr. Coleman, so it doesn't really feel like a job because it's something that I like to do. Whereas, some other things that I've worked, it's like, oh, I have to go to work today, but it doesn't actually feel like work. It's really fun, and I love talking to patients, and it's been really beneficial to me because I've learned a lot of stuff, just like all the medical terminology that you don't really get to know until you're into college. So I think it's definitely given me a jump start on any physical therapy programs that I might be starting soon. I also will get the office hours, so if I continue into the summer, which I plan on doing, I have a lot more office hours than any of my future opponents when trying to get into a master's program. That's kind of all I had.
Marley, what grade are you in?
I'm a senior this year. Thank you.
Excuse me, you're planning on pursuing this as a university thing? This is not something, I thought once upon a time that all you needed was an associate's or something. Found out you actually need a master's to work at this. Is that what you're planning on doing?
Yeah, so I'm going to Bridgewater College for 4 years, and I'm going to study health and exercise science, and then from there I hope to get a master's degree at a bigger university.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other questions for Marley? Okay. So here we have Sasha Danchek. She is in our culinary arts program at Blue Ridge, and then Colton Vincent, he's in our welding program.
So our culinary arts at Blue Ridge is full of incredibly experienced chefs. We have people from around the world. I think one of our main chefs is from Scotland, and she went to the most renowned culinary school, like the best one in the world. And then we have another chef who has actually been on TV multiple times and won competitions. So it's really cool to work with them. It's obviously very hands-on. Every day, every other day we're cooking, and then the other days we are doing nutrition, or we are doing study halls. And so we constantly have chefs who are making sure that we are doing everything right and making sure that we are completing things to the best of our abilities. And it's really helped me learn more about the career and learn more about how to better cook in the kitchen, and I absolutely love it. I love every second of it. It's a little challenging at times, but it helps you push yourself. So.
All right. Good afternoon. I am Colton Vincent, and I'm in the welding and mechatronics program at Blue Ridge. It's an incredible program that I have come to value so incredibly much. We have learned not just welding and mechatronics. We have also taken electronics and fluid power courses and OSHA. So we're learning a broad spectrum of valuable skills that I will be able to put to use in the workplace, as well as studying welding, which I plan to continue my education with. Following my graduation, I'll be shipping out for basic training for the Pennsylvania Army National Guard over the summer. And then following basic training, I'll be going to Penn College of Technology, where I will pursue a bachelor's degree in welding technology with a minor in non-destructive testing, which is testing welds for quality assurance. I'm very excited for that, but this program has been so incredibly valuable, and I've learned so much that I definitely have a jump start, as the program's called. So.
What's mechatronics?
So mechatronics is, it's almost a little confusing, but we cover a broad spectrum of shop skills, anything from working with motors to also learning just, how to do taps and dies and, just general shop knowledge. I don't know if that's exactly what it's supposed to be, but that's what we've learned, and it's definitely valuable.
That's a big word for that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, and our last two, because they wanted to go last anyway. So we have Mia and Savannah. They are part of our first Aldi internship. The students have the ability to work with Jamie with the horse side, and then Turner on the business side. So they're going to talk about that for a little bit.
As I already told you, my name is Mia Wolf, and I'm a part of the Audley internship. We kind of got set up through an email from Mr. Coleman, actually. I had no idea what Audley Farm was, and both my parents grew up farmers, but I've never been within that like atmosphere, and I've kind of grown to really love it and really love the animals. I kind of used to it's 2 minutes from my house. I had no idea like what was going on behind like the fence. And I've kind of grown to love not only the horses, but also the cattle. And it's just given us it's a great way to start our morning in a way, because I know Marley talked about how she has 2 early releases, but Savannah and I were kind of the opposite. Our first and second block are at this farm. So it's kind of a great way to start our morning with fresh air and be around the animals. And everyone who works there is extremely nice, and they do a really good job there. And I think it's also kind of broadened my horizons, I guess, and potentially being a vet, because part of me kind of wants to be a dermatologist, but on the other hand, I suppose I would kind of enjoy being a vet, and I wasn't entirely sure because I haven't had like large animal experience prior to Audley, but after working with the horses and being around the cattle, I've kind of been like, oh, this is something I could actually see myself doing, not just because of the big fat paycheck either. And then after Audley, I'm also a senior, and then I plan to attend Virginia Tech, hopefully rooming with Savannah if she'll have me, and I plan to sadly study medicinal chemistry. We'll see how that one goes, and that'll potentially lead me to be a dermatologist or maybe a vet, but I first got to get into med school or vet school. And with the help of the farm manager, Turner, and his letter of recommendation, that is what got me into Virginia Tech, and I hope I can pursue those dreams.
Hi, I'm Savannah, as Mia said. She pretty much covered it all, but going into this, I had no idea about animals, like, at all in the slightest. But I joined it because of the business side we were told about. So every now and then we meet with Turner Kobayashi, who is the manager, and we talk about the cattle business and learn about the history of Audley in their equine industry and their cattle industry and kind of how they sell their meat. So that's kind of what's helping me, because I'm also going to Virginia Tech and majoring in business. So being in that business side and seeing how they market and how they finance their cattle industry that they're still working on building is just really educational to me. Like, it's a great opportunity. Any questions? Thank you.
No, wait, I don't have any questions. I'm just blown away by all of you guys. It's like, and the work that Mr. Coleman has put in with making connections within our community and then also outside of our community. And in the past, I've like driven past the kind of CTE center that Winchester City has, and you feel so jealous when you look at this like gorgeous building that was probably millions of dollars, but the opportunities that you guys have are just as awesome. We may not have the same facility, but the work that you've put in, Mr. Coleman, and then all of you guys for taking advantage of it, because I think it's hard sometimes to leave your peers at the high school, like to not want to be with your classmates all day long, especially like with the welding and the culinary arts program. Like, you miss kind of a large part of your day, right, with your classmates. So that's a sacrifice that you guys have made, but it's awesome that you've stuck with it and that you're seeing the value of taking these classes. And I'm so glad that you guys just came and presented, because so often you hear about teenagers and, how awful they are and, them making mistakes and all of the bad stuff. But you guys are just proof that we have a great educational system in Clarke County, and we're really proud of you. And Colton, you're like, I don't know, a monthly attendee to our school board meetings. I don't know how many times you've been here. But we're really excited for your future. And Sasha, are you a senior this year? Okay, wow. So good luck to all of you.
Yeah. Mr. Coleman and Ms. Waring, since I know nothing happens at high school without Ms. Waring's blessing. I ran for school board. One of the things I thought I might have to do was get deeply involved with a CTE program because there were some problems a few years ago. Got here and I found out I didn't have to do a damn thing. I could be home watching TV now. But Mr. Coleman, congratulations. Ms. Waring, again, congratulations. And to you students, I'm sure you're all going to do well. Most of the Clarke County kids seem to, so well done one and all.
I'm going to put another hat on. I'm going to put my Farm Bureau hat on right now. And anyway, certainly, I want to give credit to everybody that was involved. Certainly, Mr. Coleman has taken it where we had hoped to be. Dr. Nail and Dr. Seal, in the last 4 or 5 years, Farm Bureau had always been trying to push some things in ag, but recognizing the opportunities in all the businesses around and for apprentice and work-based learning. And so, man, super, wonderful. A couple other things, Colton, I have an NDE textbook if you want it. The ladies that are pursuing the large animal vets, please do so. It's a huge, huge deficit, not only in the state, but across the nation. I sure hope you make a lot of money, but these old poor cattle farmers might not be able to pay what the horse people do. But anyway, you all are very impressive, and I'm sure I speak for everybody here that we are very proud of you. And good luck.
Mr. Coleman, I feel like I say it every single year that you come and present here, but you are like one of our greatest assets. So really, we thank you for everything you've done. I've known you a long time. I remember when we hired you, and we're really, really fortunate to have you. So thank you. And good luck to all of you. Really, you guys are amazing. And thanks for being here on a Tuesday night.
And Mr. Coleman, do you have any more, I didn't know if you had anything else to present there, any other pieces for the Tri-State Nissan?
Yeah, the only other thing is Hayden Fleetwood, he actually could make it. He worked. So the Tri-State Nissan, the automotive apprenticeship, he actually leaves high school around 12:40 and then goes there to work with Tri-State. They're paying for his, they've agreed to pay for his schooling. So when he graduates, they're going to send him to New Jersey and pay for housing, a car, a meal allowance to get all of the training that he needs to get done. And then he's just going to roll into full-time employment with Tri-State. I think that was the only, Addison, trying to get her to talk in front of people is difficult. But she's doing the criminal justice part of the Jump Start program. And she plans to go on and continue with George Mason in, by taking criminal justice, she decided she wants to do forensic psychology. So she's going to go into that after she graduates. And Sasha's going into the Air Force. So she has to decide her jobs by tomorrow. So.
And Mr. Coleman, the reason I'd asked before I talked, I wanted to say just a couple things. We were delighted to turn the Jump Start program in for a VSBA Showcasing Award. We've not heard anything back on that yet, but I think our chances are good because we did get asked to submit 4 high-resolution color photos with that. And I do believe that was extremely innovative leadership to look at CTE opportunities beyond, the state of Virginia and being the first district to look at partnering with someone outside of the Commonwealth when stellar programming is there. So I think that's just a wonderful opportunity and had a lot of vision there with it. One good thing that we have been asked to do so far, and I guess by me saying this, we're committing to it. I sent you the email, but we'll be there and we'll figure it out together. But VSBA did contact me today and said they would like to do a podcast with Clarke County on the Jump Start program. So I think that could be an interesting adventure for us to go into. But I'm also really happy that the state of Virginia and the Commonwealth, I do think one good thing of the way we're taking accountability is we're giving much more credit to CTE programming and valuable work-based learning experiences. So that is one part that I really think that they got right in us going forward. But I was really impressed by the students tonight. I was just thinking how intimidating it could be to come and speak to a school board and, you know, people who are at a school board meeting, and they were as polished or more polished than a lot of adults would be, and just as at ease. So it was really impressive. Thank you.
You guys don't have to stay for the whole meeting. Next is finance, but I cannot see.
Brenda asked if I would do it. She was unable to attend tonight. So the first thing on the finance report is the review of the fiscal year 25 expenditure report to date. And through March 31st, the operating fund expenditures are at 18 million roughly, which is about 63% of our revised budget. And when you look at encumbrances, that's about 93% of our budget encumbered. And that's what we would expect at this time of year. The food service fund shows expenditures roughly of $600,000 and a corresponding revenue to date of $588,900. The capital fund project shows an available balance of $360,000, but the majority of that, in the amount of about $265,000, is already budgeted for HVAC, security improvements, and high school repairs. So that's kind of where we're at to date, right about where we would expect to be. On the bonus part we'll actually have as an action item later. This is kind of, we're thankful for it and a great thing, but a little bit different that you amend a budget after the budget's in the year. But we do have an FY25 budget for educators that has been introduced into the, as an amendment to the fiscal year 25 bonus. We did meet with the Finance Committee, and the Finance Committee consensus was to provide a $1,000 bonus to all contracted employees of Clarke County Public Schools that were on contract as of April 1st, 2025. The bonus would be contingent, though, upon receipt of state appropriated funding for the 2025 educator bonus from the state. If funding has been received by Clarke County Public Schools before May 23rd, 2025, the bonus would be paid on May 30th, 2025. Otherwise, the bonus would be paid as soon as possible, and we'll kind of talk about some details of that timeline and some little bit of changes to the budget on when you have to get that out. But that is a budget amendment for FY25. And then we do have two supplemental appropriation requests. One of them is that the Claude Moore Grant Foundation, we got a grant in the amount of $4,499, which is used for a knee and ankle sports injury simulator. And we would need to get approval to do an additional appropriation request for that. Also, Clarke County Public Schools was thankful to get a $75,000 STEM immersive curriculum building grant by the VDOE, and we would need a $75,000 additional appropriation for that, which will be later on in action items. So I believe that is all that we have for the finance report tonight.
Any questions? Thank you, Dr. Bowen.
Thank you.
Superintendent update?
All right, just a whole lot of recognitions of individuals that play a pivotal role in education. National Instructional Assistant Day was April 2nd. All these are very valuable people in our school system. National School Librarian Day was April 4th. School Bus Driver Appreciation Day is actually today. Administrative Professionals Day is tomorrow. So we'd like to thank them for their contributions to the workplace. April is Virginia School Boards Association Workforce Readiness Month. That's why we have Mr. Coleman present at this agenda. And during April 7 through 11, we were able to celebrate National Assistant Principals Week. So we honored our assistant principals and deans during that time. April is the month of the military child, and it's a special time to honor the sacrifices and contributions of military-connected students across Virginia. Based on our most recent data collection, there are over 77,000 military-connected students attending public schools in the Commonwealth. According to the Department of Defense, Virginia has more military-connected students residing within its state lines than any other state in the nation. Also, the Widget Cup was happened recently, and it was great to go see the tremendous work that the kids did and the innovative thinking they had to do. And also that incorporated everything from listening to a proposal by a business of a true need, planning, doing the math and the calculation work, and then building and presenting. And Clarke County won first place for the fourth consecutive row in the consecutive year in the Widget Cup. And we are going to ask our coaches and members to come to our May board meeting to recognize them, but it happened right before break, so we didn't have time to coordinate getting them here. The Giant Company sponsors a Feeding School Kids program where patrons can round up their total purchase when they check out at their stores. The local Martins in Berryville come to our division on April 10th to announce that Clarke County Public Schools will receive a check in the approximate amount of $4,000. These funds will be used to help offset student meal debt, so we're thankful for that. On Tuesday, April 29th, Boyce and Cooley fourth graders will be visiting with Newbery Medal winning and #1 New York Times best-selling author Catherine Applegate and librarian rock star John Shue at Shenandoah University as part of the Books in Bloom celebration. On April 30th, Boyce and Cooley's second grade students will be visiting with Troy Cummins, who has written and illustrated more than 50 children's books. These in-person sessions with read-alouds by the authors, candid discussion about the stories behind their stories, and fun goodie bags with copies of the author's books for each child in attendance are a continuance of the author visits for elementary students that were previously supported by the Claude Moore Foundation and the Clarke County Education Foundation. And we do have a flyer attached, and we'd like to say a big thank you to Dr. Karen Huff for providing this opportunity to Clarke County students. Boyce
Dr.
and
Bowling?
Cooley, yes.
I'm very jealous. I love Catherine Applegate's novels are so good. What an opportunity. And that's such a great way to get kids engaged with novels that they're reading in the classroom. So that's an awesome opportunity. I'm very jealous.
Oh yeah, it certainly is. And then we had Boyce and Cooley each had 2 teams that participated in a Lego Robotics Challenge over the last couple of months, and an expo to showcase their creations was held on April 2nd, 2025. We'd also like to invite the students and mentor leads to potentially be recognized for that at our May meeting. Also, the baccalaureate service will be held on Sunday, May 18th at 5 p.m., and the senior awards will be beginning at 6:30 p.m. on that night.
Audience comments? Consideration of employee bonuses.
All right, let me give you just a couple little pieces here, then I will read the summary, and you can look there at the recommended motion. When this developed, this is part of the budget for this year. Early on, the governor mentioned it as a possibility, but it wasn't in the governor's initial budget, but it was widely popular with bipartisan support in the General Assembly budget. And then the governor signed this with the total appropriation. Now, to say it's completely done would not be the case yet because you pass it all as one whole. And the General Assembly asked for another amendment, and it's now been back to the governor's desk, and he has till midnight on May the 2nd to sign that. So I wouldn't say it's a complete done deal, but it's been approved by the General Assembly and the governor. It's just kind of, now that it's tied with other things, it's back up for, there is always that possibility because it was sent back from the General Assembly to restore not only increasing the support cap, but the increased funding that the General Assembly had requested for it was amended and sent back to the governor's desk, and he has till midnight on May 2nd to approve that. So I do want to kind of give that disclaimer. But initially, it was pretty rigid that you had to, it was a bonus that was to be paid out by June 1st, 2025. You got the money. It was $1,000 for all full-time SOQ positions was required, but divisions could divide up the funding according to how they felt most appropriate. One thing that's happened since then is it does look like the language would be a little bit different, and I think the reason being we're getting so close to that June 1st deadline, and that's why this budget or the recommended motion has a lot of language to it. But it looks like the language is going to be that the BDOE has to distribute funding for the $1,000 bonus by June 1st. And the goal would still be to have it out in time to get the bonus out by June 1st. But the concern right now with the May 2nd, and it could get kicked back, is about timing and having time to process it. So they have said that it will be that you do not have to pay the bonus by June 1st. And actually, you could do a request to carry it forward into FY26, but you would have to, the money would come in FY25, and you would have to do a request of the school board and board of supervisors to carry the funds forward. I hope we don't get in that situation, because it's going to be a lot easier to pay it out in FY25, because it's intended to be an FY25 bonus. But there are some caveats there with that, which is due to timing, and that's why that's like that. When we met with the Finance Committee, what we started doing was looking at who would be eligible. And one thing, and it's a mixed bag, and there's really no set rules on this as far as what you do with part-time and full-time. There are some divisions in the Commonwealth that are going to recommend everybody get the same amount, and some will prorate it based upon the amount of hours they work, or saying all part-time or half-time. When we looked at it, we only had roughly about 10 part-time people, and many of them were working within 5 hours of full-time. So it just didn't seem like it was worth, that point, and we value those individuals for their contribution as well. So the Finance Committee felt it would be best to do the same amount for everybody of $1,000 bonus. Now, to do that, we first seen if we could afford it. And the cost to do it, we have 309 eligible employees at $1,000 each. When you include the FICA to that, it would be $332,639. The state appropriated funding, and it's under the same language, so I don't really understand why the amount is different for the Senate and the House, but one of them is 209 and one of them is 217. So we went with the more conservative amount and said 209,000 would be directly funded by the Commonwealth of Virginia. That would leave $123,593 to be covered by Clarke County Public Schools. And the good thing is you're allowed to use excess food service funds for food service employees. So then we were able to take out the $4,306 for the Clarke County Public School employees that are funded through that, which would mean at worst it would be, and it could be a little bit more if we got the higher allotment of money, the cost to be $119,287. Now, we would have to be physically responsible, and really watch every dime, but we do that anyway. But we've worked with Brenda and Nancy, and we do have the funding to match that. The committee felt strongly that giving $1,000 to everybody, showing them a gratitude for what they do, would be a nice offer, especially considering that our salary increase we're very thankful for, but it's not quite as much as some of the surrounding counties. But one other option would be, if the board felt inclined, we could certainly divide just the amount of money equally and go with that amount. For the motion, if you'll notice there, the recommended one is to pay a $1,000 bonus to all contracted employees of Clarke County Public Schools. And I want to draw attention to that contracted. The reason being, and I don't know of anybody doing this, but there's no way we could afford to do all of our substitute teachers, and even though we really value their contribution. That would be more itinerant work and could be a large pool. The other thing are people who are coaches, and coaches alone don't get a contract, they get a pay agreement. But like if somebody just, coached one sport one season, they wouldn't get this. But it's all contracted employees that were on contract as of April 1st, 2025. And an important part of that motion would be that the bonus would be contingent upon the receipt of state appropriated funding for the 2025 educator bonus from the state. If funding has been received by Clarke County before May 23rd, 2025, the bonus would be paid on May 30th. Otherwise, the bonus would be paid as soon as possible after state funding is received. And the reason the May 23rd piece, we have to have time to get it ready for payroll. And the other thing is, once we get this exact amount, we're going to have to ask for an additional appropriation of it. So it's going to be a lot of steps, but I'm just really hopeful that it'll come in a timely manner and we're able to pay this out before June 30th, 2025, because it's going to be a lot more seamless at that time. And we may also not have the funding part to bring everybody up to 1,000 if it goes into next year, if that makes sense. So that's why that action item is pretty wordy and verbose. If y'all have any questions, and you all can debate among yourselves too.
Any questions about, obviously we were there, but I think it was important to us, and we both felt strongly that because we only had these 10 part-time people, it just made sense to be able to give everybody the full amount. So.
Any possibility that the money from the state does not come in?
I would think it's very slim. Had the General Assembly approved the budget with the reduced amount of support cap on the last signing of the governor, he signed the full funding for the bonus. But anytime you send it back with amendments, it all could start completely over. And that's why we put there, and I want every employee to know it, that we put it in the motion that it's contingent upon the receipt of state appropriated funds, because since it was kicked back, I don't think this would happen, but it could even revert back to year 2 of the biennial budget. So once you kick something back, it could completely start over.
Just a thought, because, it's out there, and it'd be pretty disappointing if it didn't come through. And if we're already saying that we can do the part that we have, I'm just thinking out loud here. Would we do that by the June 30th date, regardless, and then anything that came from the state added on? Is that something that
we could possibly, do that? The reason I think we looked at it tonight with the motion is knowing we'd have to have board approval, and we're getting very close to that June 1st if they stick to it part, and then we'd have to get an additional appropriation piece. But what we could come back to is if the funding didn't come through, we could amend it at our May meeting to just distribute the matching part.
Yeah.
And I do want everybody to know, I think since the governor had signed it and the General Assembly, I wouldn't see it changing, but where we're not there, I don't want anybody to think that it's a guarantee.
Well, if it fell through, at least we could
do what
we could do what we were already planning on doing, and that would be something for our employees. Since we're already, since it's already been figured out that we can do that.
Yeah,
That's
and with
but we
us,
can
we
take
do
care of it
have
next
more
meeting.
SOQ people, so unfortunately, the bulk of it is coming from the state, so it wouldn't be a very large amount, but everything is nice.
It would speak to showing what appreciation we can.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to throw some beef and apple butter in, and then we can do that too.
Any other, did you want to add? May I have a motion?
Let me read it. I move to pay a $1,000 bonus to all contracted employees of Clarke County Public Schools that were on contract as of April 1st, 2025. The bonus will be contingent upon the receipt of state appropriated funding for the 2025 educator bonus from the state. If funding has been received by Clarke County before May 23rd, 2025, the bonus will be paid on May 30th, 2025. Otherwise, the bonus will be paid as soon as possible after state funding is received.
Second.
Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Do you want to talk about, well, this was in whatchamacallit, so I guess any questions about this appropriation? All right, may I have a motion, please?
I move that the FY25 school operating fund budgeted expenditure and appropriation be increased by $75,000 and that the revenue budget, sorry. Okay. I move that the FY25 school operating fund budgeted expenditure and appropriation be increased by $4,499 and that the revenue budget and appropriation be increased by the same amount, all for the purpose of receiving local grant funds from a Claude Moore grant to be used to purchase a knee and ankle sports injury simulator.
For a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Appropriation for STEM verse.
I move that FY25 school operating fund budgeted expenditure and appropriation be increased $75,000 and that revenue budget and appropriation be increased by the same amount, all for the purpose of receiving state funds from the Virginia Department of Education for the STEM Versive Curriculum Building Grant.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Consideration of policies for first and second. The policy committee met on April 9th and recommended the following policies for first and second reading. Did anybody have any questions? All right, may I have a motion, please?
I move to approve the policies presented as first and second reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Fantastic. Mr. Brownbacker.
I really don't have a whole lot to say. We did have a governor's school meeting this past because of spring break, so I don't have any updates there. As far as our slots being filled, do you have anything?
For next year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all of our slots are filled for next year except for one.
Okay.
How many slots do we have again? Is it 3?
6
Oh, 6.
total. Total, 6 total.
10th, 11th, 12th, yeah. What grade's missing?
It's not really a grade that's missing, it's just we get allotted a certain number of slots.
Oh, so it doesn't matter how many 10th, 11th, or 12th graders?
No.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so they can apply really at any point, depending on their coursework.
Do you remember our spread? Like, what is it right now?
How many are in each grade level?
Do you remember that?
Currently 1 10th grader, 3 11th graders.
That's fine.
Yeah, I do have a spreadsheet of that though,
That's
so I
fine.
can get
Just
that.
curious. Yep. Anything else?
Yeah, that's all.
Mr. Wilson?
I said most of what I had to say when the young people were up here giving their presentation.
We're certainly happy that you decided to join the board despite our CTE program that's so
Keeps you on your toes, Madam Chair.
we appreciate it. Mr. Kennedy?
CT is exciting for sure. The Widget Cup, 4 years in a row, that's pretty awesome. It's fun to watch, so I wasn't able to be a part of it this year, but it is exciting. Thank you for all you do. So our community lost a dear member in Kim Braithwaite, so we want to remember her and Joey. Phenomenal family and what they do for this community, and the athletic association and everything else. There's probably not a youth that has come through any of our sports program that they haven't touched the life of in the last 30 years, guaranteed. So our condolences to them.
Well, I think that by the time we have our next board meeting, teacher appreciation will have passed, probably, right? So I just wanted to extend my gratitude towards all of our teachers throughout the county, but also instructional assistants and our bus drivers, obviously our administrators, food service. There's so many people in the whole transportation department. There's so many different jobs that make this all work. So very thankful for them. And then I know we'll meet before the kids graduate, but I hope that our seniors are enjoying these last few weeks of school, and mostly that they're safe, but also that, they take advantage of all of these fun events that are coming up, because real life hits hard after that graduation date, no matter what path you take. And lastly, to go along with Mr. Kennedy, our Board of Supervisors school board joint session meeting, Mr. Boyce talked about the role of different community members and how fortunate we are to live in a community that in which people don't think twice about helping one another. And so along with the loss of a tremendous community member, he did hit home the point that I think we're successful as a community because of the way that we're able to work together. And I was extremely grateful to both Mr. Boyce and Dr. Bowling for the way that meeting went and all the work that both of you put into making our jobs as board members really easy. So I thought that was an excellent meeting. So that's it.
Thank you. I don't really have anything to say other than, as always, thank you all for being here Tuesday night. I hope you enjoyed spring break. End of the school year is around the corner. I know you don't feel it, but it's there. May I have a motion to convene to closed session, please?
I move to convene a closed session to discuss personnel matters, including appointments, resignations, and retirement pursuant to Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A1, and for student discipline matters of students A, B, and C pursuant to Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A2. The estimated time required for the closed session is 60 minutes, and action is expected.
Is there a second?
Second.
No one wants to second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
This is your big chance. We want to get out of
May I
here.
have a motion to reconvene to open session, please?
I move to reconvene in open session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All,
That was easy.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Certification of closed session, Ms. Weir?
Pursuant to Code Section 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia, do you certify that to the best of your knowledge during the closed session just concluded, this board discussed only matters lawfully exempt for the open meeting requirements under Section 2.2-3711 of the Code and identified in the motion convening the closed session? Mr. Brumback?
Aye.
Mr. Wilson?
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr-Hobart?
Aye.
Ms. Singh Smith?
Aye. All right, action based on closed session. May I have a motion, please?
So
Personnel agenda.
yeah. So I move to accept the personnel agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Okay. And then the second motion is for student A and student B. It's recommended to remand back to staff
Yep.
for discipline matters.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Okay, and then the third motion regarding the disciplinary matter of student C, the disciplinary committee.
No,
acting-
School board.
The school board, Clarke County School Board, under the auspices of policy JGD/JGE, recommend that student C be expelled from Clarke County Public Schools for a period of 365 calendar days, effective April 22nd, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll adjourn the meeting.